we are increasing in numbers. This is a great thing. Let me say thank you for, on the Feast of All Fools, April Fool's Day. Thank you for joining me in this evening as we come to talk about the future and moving together into the future and what it might look like and how we can prepare for it. And so thank you. Thank you for allowing me. It's great to see all of your faces. One of the things about being in the pastorate is that, you know, I see your faces. And one of the great joys is to stand in front of you and lead you in worship and lead you in the celebration of the sacrament, but also to see your faces and to see you smile, particularly when I get a little humorous in my sermon, and to just see you all smiling, and I know I've got you. And when I do these YouTube presentations, it's very sterile. I'm talking to myself basically upstairs and hoping the dog doesn't bark while I'm recording. And so it's, you know, and there's this tension of producing it, but I don't see your faces. Oh, I see a little pooch. Nancy, you have your pooch there? Oh, that is so cute. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for making that happen. So tonight we're looking at moving into the future, and you've been working for 3 years in bringing in one rector that would serve 2 parishes. And I've always been impressed by the way the prayers of the people have always included that petition about building the trust and the relationship between St. Martin's and Christ Church, and the calling of one rector for the 2 parishes. And I think that's one of the great ways to work with this, to pray about it, to think about it, and to have time to come together in this union and to do something. You think you think this is unique. Let me tell you, when you're a historian, this isn't unique. This is what the colonial model used to look like. One rector would serve. There was one rector for St. David's in Radnor who served St. Peter's in the Great Valley, and there was another church, a third church up near on Egypt Road or up in that direction. And so it was common for a rector to have 3 parishes, and you spend a lot of time on horseback. And many wrote their sermons while they were riding on horseback between the 3 parishes. And church didn't always happen every Sunday, because all of a sudden there's 3 feet of snow. I can't do this. So this may seem unique to you. To me, this is a return to a colonial model that we have had. Henry Melchior Muhlenberg, in our Lutheran tradition, he had 3 parishes continually throughout his ministry. 33 miles separated them. And he managed that from 1742 until he retired in 1776. So we're going back to a colonial model. And so for you, it may seem unique, but if you've studied church history, been there, done that. So I'd like to tell you stories. Since we're among ourselves, I'd like to tell you a story, 2 stories, and then bring them together and then farm this into how I would see how the future might look for the person who's wearing this, the collar, okay? So I was the director of the library at the Lutheran Seminary at Philadelphia for about 17 years. And I also taught courses in church history. And we have a sister seminary in Gettysburg. Okay, so it's only 2.5 hours away. And then there are 6 other seminaries in the Lutheran constellation, scattered up in Minnesota, in Iowa, 1 out in California, 1 in South Carolina. So none of us were doing really great. We had our ups and downs and our hiccups. So in 2016, there was an email that was sent to us from the president of Gettysburg Seminary and the Philadelphia Seminary, saying that they were going to merge the seminaries in the upcoming year. This is their task. It's what the presidents do in conjunction with the Board of Trustees. So we were all a little stunned. Okay. What's the name of the new seminary? That has to be determined, TBD. Do we have a logo? No, you can't have a logo because you don't have a name. To be determined. Do we get free t-shirts? No, that's to be determined, okay? So here we are, we were taking 2 seminaries with 150 years of history between, you know, each had 150 years of history, bringing them together from the top down. And here it was, and this was the announcement. So I was serving at Washington Memorial Chapel as priest associate on a part-time basis. And I was sitting there through the early weeks of February and thinking, oh, I know what's coming for me as the librarian. So then I walked into my president's office at the end of February to say, hi, I'm going to be retiring. And he said, yes, I know you might be retiring, but I can't offer you a job after 2/17. We're not sure how this is going to go down. Oh, I'm not retiring in 2/17. I'm giving you my notice now. For June of 2/16, I'm leaving now. And I'm going to continue my work at Washington Memorial Chapel. And then Roy Almquist, who was the priest in charge, said, I'll give you a few more hours because I had to buy some healthcare for a while. And it's like, we can make this work. So I said, cheers, farewell. Wish you well in Godspeed. Have a great time. Why did I do that? Now I'm going to take, that was 2/16. Let me go back to 2002. Between the year of 2000 and 2002, the librarians got together, and there are 3 Lutheran seminaries on the East Coast, one in Gettysburg, one in Philadelphia, and one in Columbia, South Carolina. And if you look at the settlement pattern of Germans on the East Coast, it makes sense that the seminaries were located there. We have 3 different operating systems, and librarians do a lot of duplicate work. We do the same routines as we bring books in and make them shelf ready and talk to our patrons and answer their questions. We had 3 different systems. None of us could afford to buy all of the components in the computer platform. I mean, when I was in school, and I'm looking at all of you, when all of you were in school, you know, a library was totally technologically efficient. If it had a typewriter, okay, with a red and black ribbon, and it had a telephone and a pencil, you were set to run the library because you typed your own cards, you did everything. It was all, we went to the card catalog and our fingers did the walking across the card catalog, and we would retrieve the books, and there it was. Well, in 2000 and 2002, et cetera, we were now doing this remotely with using the internet, which I lived through. When I was at the University of Michigan, when I started my doctoral program, we still had a card catalog. When I finished my dissertation, it was partially online, and it was a DOS operated system, and there was you could get an orange screen or a green screen, and the cursor would blink at you when you had no idea what to do. So here we are. We had computer platforms, and those became very expensive. So what we did is the three librarians from Gettysburg, Philadelphia, and Southern Seminary decided, we wrote a grant proposal to the Luce Foundation, and we got a sizable grant. We were going to take this technology, we were going to merge and create one library system between 3 branches. In other words, we were going to create one library, 3 branches. Sounds something like what you're doing here at Christ Church Ithan. You're going to have one rector, but you're going to have 2 branches, one at St. Martin's, one at Christ Church Ithan. I know what that's like. Been there, done that. So we created this system, and we had to merge. You know, my library had 193,000 volumes. The other libraries were a little smaller. When it was all said and done, we had 495,000 volumes. Okay. We had a name for our new system. It was called ECHO, Eastern Cluster Catalog Online. Since ECHO sounded like gecko, we had a logo, and the gecko became our logo, and we started promoting this to everybody. And we didn't offer free t-shirts. What we did was, we were far better. We offered fine forgiveness. If you return your books, we will forgive your fines, because we wanted to get as many books back so that our circulation records wouldn't be complicated when we transferred the systems. And we got tons of books back, and it was great. We were supposed to come up on June 1st, 2002. We came up 2 weeks early, May 15th, 2002. And from there, we burst into the 21st century in a way that nobody could imagine. And we did coordinated collection development. We were able to move down. We were able to do away with duplicate spending, duplicate ordering. We knew exactly, we had worked hard. We had a name, we had a logo, and we offered fine forgiveness. So there it was. So in 2004, the librarian at Gettysburg passed away from cancer. And so here was another opportunity to do something that we hadn't thought of before. And so I became the librarian for Philadelphia and Gettysburg Seminary. Now, the trek from Philadelphia to Gettysburg Seminary is 2.5 hours one way. The trek from Christ Church, Ithan to St. Martin's is only 1.7 miles. There's a little difference there. But I took care of the two libraries. And at the end of a year and a half, I came to a realization that one, when you have twins, life becomes very, very frustrating very quickly. It's nice to have one child, but when the doctor says you have twins, it's like, ah. And one is cranky one day and the other is happy. And the next day it's reverse. And then they reverse personalities. Everything becomes confusing. And all of a sudden I had twins. It was like listening to everything in stereo. And after a year and a half, I decided this isn't me. It's a long trek. I actually knew where the state police sat on Route 15 from the exit from the turnpike down to Gettysburg. I knew all their hiding spaces. And so it was the trek from, I would go out 2-3 times a month to Gettysburg and come back. We did a lot of things remotely, hard. And so when they came and created the merger of the seminaries in 216 and said, we're going to bring this to happen in 217, I knew what they were going to say to the librarian. Hi, you can take care of both libraries simultaneously. Congratulations, you're now the proud parent of twins. And I knew what was coming, and so I stepped down. So all of these little stories come together for me to say something to you. When I was the librarian, there were 2 presidents, 2 registrars, 2 deans. Everybody was still in their position. We had academic calendars that didn't match. It was very difficult for me, and it was very lonely. So after a year and a half of taking care of the 2, I said to the Gettysburg Seminary, you need to find a librarian and take care of this yourself, because this is very lonely for me. We're facing some major work on the Philadelphia campus. I'm not really interested any longer. And so I came to the conclusion that this is hard. This is hard. And so I stepped away, worked more hours at Washington Memorial Chapel, and now I'm at Christ Church Ithan and St. Martin's and having a great time doing this and talking about what I love and preaching and administering the sacraments. But looking to the future, what they did when they merged the seminaries, they finally got a name. It was so original, United Lutheran Seminary. And the first logo failed, and now they have a new logo. We're still waiting for the free t-shirts. So what I'm saying is they did that. They asked the librarian in Philadelphia, my successor, to take care of both libraries. And that's what this person is doing. And so now I would like to share what I experienced. One, it was lonely. I did not have a support team. They did not understand what I was going through. They did not understand what it meant to take care of 2 places simultaneously. So as I was thinking about this, as you call your next rector, if you saddle that person with 2 of everything, they're going to feel very lonely very quickly. And that's going to be hard for them, because if you have to do 2 of everything, then it's going to be, and that will be difficult. So, okay, so that's something to think about. When you give that person, as I had the 2 places, what happens is that person goes, there are 2 modes of operation for us who are in administration. There's what we call the mission mode, the missional mode, or mission mode, and maintenance. Mission mode is when I have resources, I have energy, and I can dream. I can dream, and I look at Christ Church and I look at St. Martin's and I think, oh, look at this possibility. Do you know how many colleges are in your backyard? Do you have a presence on that campus? If you're in mission mode, the next priest would come and say, maybe, we have the energy, we have the resources, we could do this. Maybe we can create a presence at Eastern University, at Valley Forge Military Academy, at Cabrini, and just, say, hey, we're here for you in ways. That's mission mode. When that person becomes lonely and becomes lonely and tired, they'll drop to maintenance. And then it's, hi, we're maintaining we're maintaining the congregation. Does this make sense so far what I'm saying? What I'm saying, and I'm talking from my own experience. It's my own personal experience. You can crucify me later, no problem. But I'm just saying to you, okay, so how could you work around this? How could you work around this? Well, one thing I think might be to create a pastoral support committee. 2 people from each congregation that are not on the vestry, that maybe meet once every 2 months with the next person who's there, and say, hi, how are you doing? Let's have a cup of coffee. How you doing? I think a logo would be nice. St. Martin's, Christchurch, Ithan, 2 Episcopal parishes, 1 great ministry, that you can start advertising on letterheads, on logos that you put on your trunk of your car, these little magnetic things that sit there, and you can work that out. The other thing I was thinking about, and this is where what I couldn't do in the library situation, but you can because you're not that far apart, is to have fun. I find if you have fun, you all of a sudden get some energy, and you have a lot in common. And the thing that you have in common is St. Martin. St. Martin is certainly, that's the big window with the on the horse, the St. Martin of Tours sitting on the horse with that pink robe that he's about ready to slash to handle the poor person. Then I go to Christchurch, Ithan, and I'm sitting there one day and I see this man on a horse with a sword, and I think, oh, that's St. George, because everybody likes to slay a dragon. I'm like, no, he's pointing the sword at a man. Wait a minute, who is this? And I looked closely one Sunday after everyone had left, and I go, oh, that's a window to St. Martin. So up in the sanctuary where the altar is, all of the windows are about the life of St. Martin. I thought, okay, you have something in common, St. Martin. Well, why don't you create a social event around St. Martin? It's November 11th. Every Lutheran knows that. November 11th, that's the day Luther was baptized. So it's like, St. Martin. So it's like, why don't you come together on a social event with no agenda other than to socialize, laugh, and have fun. You are all phenomenal cooks. You come to your churches, you come to your coffee hours, you at Christchurch, Ithan, or St. Martin's. It's like, my God, this is an extravaganza. You could sell tickets, So come together and for a social event. And what I created at Washington Memorial Chapel was Gift Away Bingo. Gift Away Bingo was it was well thought out. Gift Away Bingo. We all have stuff in our homes. And over the years, we've received gifts. We don't want to put them in the trash because that's a gift. They're really nice, but it's just, we've got so many of them. What do you do with them? Well, what we did at the chapel was we had Gift Away Bingo. The price of admission was that you took a gift that you would like to give away. You put it in a box and you gift wrapped it. And you brought it in and you put it on the piano. And so we had this grand piano and it was piled high with all these gifts. And when you won bingo, you had the chance to pick out a box, a free gift. Now you knew the box you brought. So you weren't going to pick that, but you didn't know there were other gift wrap boxes that were there. And there they were, and you picked something. So, I mean, one year we had this creche set here. Jeffrey and I had this creche set that had been there. It had not been put up in over 15 years. It was so big. We put it in a box, gift wrapped it, and took it to Gift Away Bingo. That's what I'm talking about. And so everybody goes home a winner. You come with old stuff, but you leave with new stuff. But the whole time while you're playing bingo, you're sitting next to people, and what are you doing? You're talking. You're laughing, you're having fun. You're doing something and there's no agenda. And all of a sudden when that happens is the shields drop, the Star Trek shields drop, and all of a sudden it's like the people of God are together and the Holy Spirit is there, and all of a sudden we're community. And it's a great way to build relationships. Now, I'm not going to say all of us have very busy schedules. We all do a lot of things. So, one event in the fall, one event in the spring, one event at Christchurch, Ithan, one event at St. Martin's. I drive to St. Martin's and I'm impressed with your parking lots. I mean, those things are fantastic for some spring, summer event where you can invite people in because you've got the room to set up tables, to set up things. At Christ Church, it doesn't work that way because the parking lot is a little different. And it's like, but at St. Martin's, but you're now you're one parish, not one parish, you're two parishes with one great ministry. And it's a great way to come about and build community and communion and to reach out to your community. As I said, so there's where I'm at in this, and I just looked at my notes and all right, yeah. So logo, you know, a logo, t-shirts if you want, but things you put on your trunk of your car. You know, I'm a member of St. Martin's and Christ Church Ithan, 2 Episcopal parishes, 1 great ministry, and we're in this together. We're here for you. And that's what it means to be missional, is that the people outside of the sanctuary, the church, know that you care for them. You know, how can we pray for you? What are your concerns? And that can't sit on the shoulder of one rector. We're all in this together. And, you know, and so there's where I'm at tonight, is moving forward. A person who's moved forward, who's moved mountains, who's done things, and then to realize, you know, there's some ways to do this. If I had to do some things over again, I'd change things. But I can say to you, the one thing I wish to you is have a lot of fun. Do a lot of laughing and just get together and just have a lot of fun and turn around and love this person from the bottom of your heart, just like you loved Father David and love me from the bottom of your hearts. Do the same thing and then and do it together in a unique way, you know. So now we can unmute everybody. We can handle questions. We can clear up confusion. There's my presentation on having done this on a number of venues and experienced the loneliness and sometimes how it can become tiring, and how you could make it a little different because you're so close, and yet there's so many possibilities. As I said, those colleges are sitting right in your backyard, and it's like, you know, how do you hang up a poster? Talk to student services, and you know, here we have this great new rector that's here, and we're here for you. Come, we've got events for you. We've got things to do. We can do this. Oh, Nancy, I like that. All right. Cheers. I can see all of you. I can't hear you, Nancy. I can't. Deb hasn't unmuted you yet, but cheers. So let's talk. Let's be the people of God and let's talk.
Okay, I'm going to suggest that rather than me unmuting everybody, that you unmute yourselves. But first of all, thank you so much, Father, for getting us started on this. But second of all, in addition to questions for you, I would invite people, what if you have great ideas you'd like to share with the group of things we can do together in the same vein
right
that Father Karl was just sharing? So please, speak up.
I have on November 11th on my calendar.
All right.
And I've scheduled a party, a dual one shared rector is going to be the master of ceremonies for that party, of course.
Okay.
And then we're all going to I don't know about the karaoke stuff or the shared presence thing. I have to think about that, but I got
bingo.
I got it on my calendar right now.
But that's a great way for you to come together, to just laugh and be people, talk about what's, you know, about your concerns and these things, and then all of a sudden you've created community. You've created community in an organic, natural way from the bottom up, and that will be affirming for the person who is there leading you. And it knows it's like, I've got support. We're all in this together. We're on the same side. Let's roll. Let's go out into 2020, you know, in this moment and do ministry.
Well, I've seen it already, Karl, and but the parallel with the library situation that you were in has given me some ideas and warned me about the future. But it's I think it's worthwhile.
It's Jackie. When while you were talking, Karl, it reminded me, you're talking about for the new rector, to try to stay in kind of the mission mode and not into the maintenance mode.
Mhm.
And it reminded me of Father John before he retired saying to me, when we do call a new rector, we all need to be prepared to really support that person, not just the first month or 3 months, but for a year. And I think you've given us a couple of ideas to think about and ways that we can come together and support them. But I also think you're in a unique position that maybe you have other ideas of, what can we be doing for someone who's going to be new to the area and new to 2 churches.
Mhm.
What can we do? What ideas do you have, or what ideas do other people on this Zoom call have?
Let's turn it over to the larger people of God. How would you welcome somebody into, I mean, you're great in all this. I mean, I never knew that Robert's nickname was Sandy, and that he is the rector's warden at St. Martin's. And the whole time people are saying, talk to Sandy. And I'm looking for a woman, and I'm trying to, they're pointing to a group in the girly room, and I'm standing there going, I'm not sure who I'm supposed to be seeing. And then it was like, when you, Jackie, called Robert Sandy on the conference call that we had not too long ago, all of a sudden the light bulb went off. You're Sandy. That's who we're talking about. And
He's
so
the guy.
I have other names too, but
Oh, okay.
the situation.
So do I.
So I think one of the things I'm hearing you say there, Father Karl, is it's very simple. We may all know each other,
Correct.
but make
Correct.
sure that our vestry registry, our registries for the churches are up to date, that we're doing introductions, maybe on a small group level, so that the new rector can get to meet everybody.
Or for a while, you might want to consider name tags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, and then it's like, that's who we're referencing. So you're welcoming a person who does not know you.
Right.
And everybody now know after a while, okay, that's who we're talking about. So name tags might help for a while. That's what was when we went to Rick and Molly Wheeler's house. We remember the blue tags were for St. Martin's, the red ones for Christ Church, Ithan. We all put on our names, and I wore both. I wore one of each because it was like I wanted to show, I am in both, but it was a great way to all of a sudden look at somebody's name tag and say, that's who you are. And you could put a face to a name. Is very, very helpful. So how else would you bring somebody else into a community, into Radnor and the Villanova area?
St. Martin's has never been successful with name tags. What have you found works best? We've tried ones on pins. We've tried magnetic ones. We hung ribbons in the church with all them pinned on. What have people found successful? Because I think a name tag's really, really helpful to have.
At St. Luke and Devon, they have them in the little plastic folders you just put them around, and they're in drawers in alphabetical order. When you walk in, you pull out the drawer, you know where your name tag is, and you put it on. And when you leave, you put it back in this little drawer. It's like a file cabinet with slots intended for name tags. And then it's very easy to just slip it over your head, around your neck, and then you wear it. And then before you leave, you put it back in that file drawer. In this wooden cabinet. It's all open, and you can put it back in before you leave.
Okay.
We have them in Christ Church, but we normally don't wear them. A few people do, but I never do.
Might be an opportunity for us, because we do have them, like just encourage people when we have a new rector to start wearing them.
Right. Since we weren't together for Lent, instead of giving something up, we're going to extend Lent through the summer and next fall, and we're going to take something on, and we're going to take on wearing a name tag.
I have an idea, which it comes from other churches that I've been a member of, which is something called Dinners at 8, and it's actually Dinners of 8. And I imagine a lot of you have done this or heard of it, maybe even at St. Martin's or Christ Church. But so for the school year, or for like the first half of the school year, there are 4 couples or 6 couples, you can decide how many you want, that are designated for one group, and they take turns having dinner together at each other's houses. And the rector would be invited to any and all of that. I would think that would be helpful for the rector to find out more about the people. And if we mix up the 2 congregations, we could get to know each other better too. And it's fun. It's potluck. The person who hosts it doesn't have to do everything, okay?
Right.
This technology is completely new to the Andersons. How do we unmute or speak or?
We can hear you, Bob.
Yeah, you did unmute.
Oh, okay.
We unmuted ourselves.
We finally found some buttons up at the top.
It's in the corner.
Yep.
My idea of a welcome and is if they come from out of town, out of state, a basic orientation of our community. You know, where's the grocery store? Where's Costco? Where's this? Where's that? But I loved it when Kathy was our minister? Barb, what was her name?
Linda?
Linda.
When we had Linda, we had those small dinners at different people's houses. I thought was a huge success.
Yeah,
as Abby was suggesting.
Yeah, I think that would work well.
But I definitely think there should be a 2 or 3 person support for the rector. You know, how are you doing? What do you need?
The pastoral support committee of 2 people from each congregation or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're meeting together, and it's not a vestry person. It's, you know, how can we help you? What's going on? You know, let us know. Let us know how this is going, because this person will, you know, they'll have questions and they might be embarrassed to ask, you know, in a vestry meeting or at another venue. And then this support committee comes together. And it's like, how are you doing? Let's check on how things are going and where are you at in this? I mean, the new rector is going to have a phenomenal support committee, a support group from other clergy, because you belong to a deanery. And the deanery is going to meet. I was in part of the Valley Forge deanery when I was at Washington Memorial Chapel, and they met once a month, and they got together for social events and for official meetings. They got together at least once a month, so that will become a very important connection for clergy. But the point is, you know, and there'll be support and there'll be sharing of information. But the idea is to create something, another level of support from the congregation, so that we're all in this together. If that makes some sense.
We're muted.
No, we're not.
No.
Oh, we hear you. Hi there.
Yeah. But Jackie, are you self-quarantining in the land of Oz?
I'm attempting to be technologically forward, where you can change your background.
Yes.
So yes, and Wizard of Oz is my all-time favorite movie. So I am in the land of Oz.
Well, that's amazing.
Yes, you can do that, and you can get Hogwarts or other things back there, and you know.
Well, they had one that was from the TV show The Office, which I thought was absolutely hysterical, but I went with Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. Yeah. But actually, when you look at that, that's what St. Martin's and Christ Church Ithan is doing right now. You're heading down a road, and you're heading for a destination. And the destination has, you know, you've got people are going to join in this walk together. You didn't go, you know, Judy Garland didn't go up by herself. She had Toto, and she had the Tin Man, the Straw Man, and the Lion. And, you know, they set out on this journey together into the future. and the Wizard of Oz, and that's basically what you're doing together. You know, that's what you two parishes are doing. And the thing is, as I said, Judy Garland didn't go alone. She had friends. And that's what is coming. That's what's here among you. You're all going to walk down this yellow brick road together as the people of God, building this community, building this friendship, you know, as you move forward into the future. And you're going to, it's going to be into the unknown. And certainly Judy Garland and you know, and the Wicked Witch of the East and the West and all of that, and the Flying Monkeys and all of that. Yeah, it's going to come. I mean, look
but in the end, she knew that it was all about the love in her heart and being at home. And I think that brings us right back around our two churches coming together.
Coming together, being at home. And when you're at home, the shields are down. I can be myself. And which was my wish, that you might create social events where there's no agenda. Just get to laugh with one another. Watch the Wizard of Oz on the big screen and enjoy. And then as that fellowship, as that communion develops, you know, it's like we're two Episcopal parishes, but one great ministry. And others join in when they realize there's something happy here. There's something, you know, there's something exciting going on here. I want to be a part of this. You know, I want to do something. I want to be a part of this. There's a secret here. You know, when you walk through the doors, for a person to walk through the doors of a church, it's very frightening. You don't know what to expect. And then when you know, in the Episcopal Church, and then it's like, okay, I've got the Book of Common Prayer and I've got the hymnal, and I've got to move between the two books, and I create this little map, you know, the program, and we work really well at it. You know, we really do well at it and trying to bring this together. So it's not, but imagine for a person who has never been in a church, and every time we have a funeral, every time we have a baptism, people are coming for the first time, probably maybe in their lifetime. I mean, we discovered at Washington Memorial Chapel, we have outside of the Carillon Tower, there's a wall of honor where people come and they put the name of a veteran currently serving or someone who has served on a plaque of honor. And it's put up, we're up to the 22nd plaque. And there's a festival where we come together, and for amount of money, you put the person's name and their rank and whatever branch of the military they serve. And then there's what was called the service, honoring those people. A veteran usually speaks. It's very low key. And then I would take them out into the hallway. We would stand in front of the plaque where their father, their mother, or their sister, somebody who had served in the military, there's the name, and we would just say a prayer and honor all of those people that had served or are serving. We get to the Lord's Prayer. Do you know how many people do not know the Lord's Prayer? And people are actually pointing to the bulletin to their children what the Lord's Prayer is. And so when we host a baptism, when we host a funeral, that is going to happen time and time again. This is going to be foreign territory for so many people. You know, and so here's the opportunity. And so when they walk through the doors of that church, they know they get a sense immediately. They get a sense, this is a place that is humming. This is a place that's excited. This is a place where things are happening, and these are happy people. You know, okay, the wrong color paraments are up that week. Well, the universe isn't going to collapse. We'll just laugh and go with it. Oh my goodness, I remember supplying at Christ Church, Ithan. You, Jackie, became my savior because I took off the birth, I lift the veil. I don't have any hosts. There's nothing there. Remember that? I am totally, I can't move forward. I mean, you know, the priest's host is there, and yours at Christ Church, I think, gives me 4. I've got 30 people. I'm not I'm not do well at feeding the 5,000. You know, it doesn't happen with me. It's just not one of the things I have. And I was literally, I'm starting to sweat bullets because it's like, I can't move forward. I can't begin the prayers of consecration because I don't have these. And I'm looking and I'm running back in the little sacristy. Little did I know, you have to move this little curtain and there's the safe. There's where everything is. And you came to my rescue. And it was like, but in that moment when everything fell apart, at certain churches, it becomes a catastrophe. Oh my God, you know, God's walked out. This isn't, we were smiling, we were laughing, we continued forward reverently, intentionally, without much fuss, and it was great. And it showed what the genius and the love at St. Martin's and Christ Church, I think, when you can sit back and you can say, well, that just didn't go as planned today, but we had a great time. And when people are there, they sense that. They sense the joy that is in your hearts and the joy of being the community and the people of God. It's contagious. It's contagious in many ways, shapes, and forms. And so when people are there for baptisms and funerals, it's like, be prepared. This is when we roll out the red carpet and, hi, we're delighted you're here. You know, and somebody's looking in the Book of Common Prayer and at the chapel, people were quite great at this. They'd take over their Book of Common Prayer, hand it to them or the bulletin and point, and then go back and everything just continued. It's that spontaneity of being the people of God and sharing the joy and doing it reverently, intentionally, but without much fuss. Oh, you've got a great future. You're headed down the yellow brick road and it's going to be a great adventure and it's going to be absolutely stunning. Trust me. I mean, this you have been working for this, praying for this for 3 years. You know, for 3 years you have worked at this in a beautiful way. Father Sosnowski and Father Chris, Father Chris Bishop left you with the prayer for the people, and you've been working towards this. You've created a phenomenal search committee. I was like stunned. Each week we get this update, and it's like, you got 16 applications. You weren't flustered. It was like, we're ready to move forward. We're moving. We're down to this, and this. Then along comes this hiccup, which is changing the face of reality as we know it. In ways that I couldn't even imagine. It's unbelievable. But then I give thanks for the technology that we have right now, because that's what allowed the libraries in 3 different seminaries on the East Coast, 3 different seminaries, to come together and create one system and become a force. You know, when they merged the seminaries of Gettysburg and Philly, it was like, well, how will the library fare? Well, we've been doing this since 2002. We're 15 years old. Talk to us, we've been there, done that. What's the problem? And I mean, it was great, get a name, get a logo, and give free t-shirts or find forgiveness, do something, have it all staged, get ready to go and enjoy. So here you are, you've been working with this for all these years. You're ready to launch. You're ready to launch in so many ways, shapes, and forms. Well, I took all the words out of your mouth.
I simply want to add, first of all, that I think you've ignited a spark, and this isn't going to be the end of the conversation. I think we need to somehow start to capture people's ideas and spread it beyond the 20 of us that are here.
Correct.
Is recorded, so I will be making that link available. But I'm ready to start having fun right now, or at least as soon as we can get together.
You gotta stay home.
Except you have to stay home. That's right.
Yeah, but I saw Nancy's glass. I mean, I think we.
We can all have drinks. We can all have drinks together.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know what? I really appreciate that energy and enthusiasm, because I look at how much we've accomplished and how many times the last few months Jackie and you and David and Sandy and everybody has had to adjust already, because we're finding a new fit, and it keeps working out.
It does. It does, because God has made a promise. where 2 or 3 together, I'll be there. And that's the promise that God has made to us and has made to each of us. And so we're all walking this road, this yellow brick road, but we're walking together. We're walking together, and God said, I'm here with you. You know, and it's a phenomenal moment, and you're poised. You're in strong positions, and you're poised to be missional, to go out and to do things you hadn't thought of. And this person will come with some new ideas. And you're right. You know, how do we welcome somebody into Radnor, Villanova? Where's the best place to get the best vegetables? You know, which state store has the widest selection of nice things, you know? And, you know, I mean, remember what it was like when, you know, oh my goodness, they hid those stores. You know, we can talk about that. We're Episcopalians and Lutherans, you know? We bump into one another in the state store and we just smile and we say, hi, how are you? You know, we're not embarrassed or anything. And, oh, did you try this and that? But that's the point, is welcoming that person into the community and wearing name tags, or finding a way so that they can identify, and, you know, because they're going to be uprooting. They're coming to a new world. They're going to be nervous. They're going to be, I mean, this is there's a lot there, but they're also going to bring a lot of energy and a lot of ideas, and to come to communities like you, where it's like reverently, intentionally, without much fuss. I mean, I walked into St. Martin's and I have never worked with a rood screen in my life. And it was like, okay, where should I stand here? How do I do this? And you have that freestanding altar, but I realized I don't have much room between the two. And it was just this wonderful moment. And it was like, I was actually very scared the first time I was there behind the altar, because it's like, I'm afraid I'm going to knock this thing over. And then they all said to me, oh no, you're not going to knock it over. That's secured. That ain't going nowhere. That's fine. And it's like, and then after the third time, it was like, I know what to expect. I know how to do this. This is wonderful. And you were all there as my partners. And there's the thing, you were never my what do I want to say? You were never you were my partners in this. And, you know, oh, where's this? Where's that? Oh, we'll show you this and that. And that's the fun part of being this, you know, and it was like, oh, I forgot to do this. We're okay. Don't worry. We're okay. We're okay. You know, that's fine. Sounds good. Don't worry, you know. And I mean, you know, it's just a wonderful moment. And as I said, you're poised to do great things. You are on the verge of a great future. You really are.
Thank you for your encouragement.
Yeah,
You're very welcome.
If there are any other questions, or if you would like to wrap up with a closing prayer, is there
Sure thing.
how would anybody like to proceed at this point? Because I think you've gotten us started, and I don't want to lose the momentum. So maybe we should figure out how to start to collect ideas. I don't know if our rectors, wardens have an idea, but some way so we can have all these things. Okay, Jackie?
I wrote a few notes during the call, and I'll share those out with Sandy and Fran and Bruce, and copy you, Deb. Just, I mean, and anybody who wants them, but like for us maybe to think about we have an upcoming vestry meeting about how do we build on this, and not only build on the ideas, but how to engage more people in both of the churches with how to welcome and build this going forward with our new rector when they are called.
Right.
Okay.
And to create the social opportunities where you can come together and have fun and be, you know, and just enjoy each other's company. Maybe once every 6 months, something in the fall, something in the spring, and just allow it to unfold in a very natural way, to create that fun environment. Okay. How about we close with the Lord's Prayer?
Oh,
Lord be with you.
And also with you.
Good and gracious God, we give thanks for this evening when we can come together in your spirit uses this technology. And although this is virtual, you are actually here in the midst and creating community. We give thanks for this evening. We give thanks for the energy. We give thanks for the future that is before us, and know that you are with us. And so we are bold now to say together, Our Father,
Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this
Give us this
day
day our daily bread,
and forgive us our
forgive us our
trespasses
trespasses,
as we forgive those
who trespass against us.
and lead us not
Not into temptation,
but deliver us
from evil.
For thine is
Thine is the kingdom,
And the
power,
and the glory.
glory,
forever.
forever and ever.
Amen.
Amen.
Father David, would you bless us?
Thanks be to God. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all evermore. Amen.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Yes.
both.